Malaysia's journey in sustainable disclosure began with the introduction of mandatory corporate social responsibility disclosure requirement in 2006. Since then, the regulations have evolved into the required listed companies to disclosure environmental, social, and governance information, with significant increases in both the quantity and quality of disclosure observed after these mandates. Companies have also shown a growing tendency to voluntarily seeking assurance for their disclosure and adapt recognized reporting guidelines even when not specifically required by regulations. This is to enhance the credibility and the compatibility in the market. Over the time, the focus has shifted from basic CSR reporting to more comprehensive sustainability and sustainable development goals. uh, Bursa Malaysia Guidelines and the Malaysian Code on Corporate Governance (MCCG) in 2012 and 2018 also played an important role in this. Despite these advances, the overall of sustainability disclosure in Malaysia remains lower compared to some other countries, and there is still room for improvement in both the extent of quality and the quantity of reporting. This study also focuses on four major publicly listed companies, which is Kuala Lumpur Kopong Berhad, United Plantation Berhad, IOI Corporation Berhad, and Saib Derby Plantation Berhad. These companies were selected based on their significant market presence, active participants as the global supply chain, and demonstrated a commitment to sustainability initiative. Collectively, these companies provide a relevant and diverse perspective on how the Malaysian plantation sector is adapting and to shaping the landscape of sustainability reporting.
My name is Dexy Kathleen Doimis and my metric number is 292453. So I will tell about the material and methods that we use for this study. So this study used a qualitative and comparative methodology to evaluate the sustainability disclosure and practices of four plantation companies in Malaysia, which is Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad, United Plantation, IOI Corporation, and Sam Darby Plantation. All four are listed on Bursa Malaysia Main Market, with Sam Darby also in the FTSE Bursa Malaysia Top 100 Index to ensure inclusion of a top-tier firm. We downloaded each company's financial year 2023 annual report directly from Bursa Malaysia and focus on the sustainability statements, integrated reports, and corporate governance disclosure as our primary data. Our assessment framework was based on the Bursa Malaysia Sustainability Reporting Guide, which outlined key indicators for sustainability reporting, economic, environmental, social, stakeholder engagement, risk, and governance. We developed a standardized scoring rubric from this guide and evaluate each company using it. And then we calculate score to measure how comprehensive their disclosure were. For financial performance, we use return on asset, ROA, and for company size, we assess total assets and market capitalization. To strengthen our analysis, we also collected secondary data from sustainability indexes, news reports, and CSR rankings, and review each company's anti-bribery and anti-corruption policy. Finally, we align our findings with international standards such as the Global Reporting Initiative and the UN Sustainability Development Goals. This method, transparent and consistent approach allow us to fairly compare the companies and draw meaningful conclusions on sustainability, governance, and ethical leadership in Malaysia's plantation sector. Now I will show you the performance sustainability practices of all four companies. So from practices 1.1 to practices 1.3, all companies fulfill the first three governance practices. Their boards are actively involved in setting strategic direction and values, and the chairman's role is separate from the CEO to avoid conflicts of interest. For practices 1.4 to practices 1.6, they also meet other governance standards such as having independent chairman, qualified company secretaries, and effective communication through early distribution of materials and minutes. From environmental standpoint, all companies address key issues including climate change, energy efficiency, water usage, and waste management. This shows strong alignment with sustainability standards. Socially, they focus on fair labor practices, workplace safety, diversity, and continuous training for employees. These areas are essential for long-term employee satisfaction and ethical operations. In terms of sustainability, all companies ensure customer satisfaction, prepare for future business continuity, and promote sustainable products, which is the key for their market reputation and long-term growth. So each of the companies score a full of 19 out of 19 across all categories. This shows a high level of consistency in applying governance and sustainability practices.
Good day, Doctor. I'm Darshini Munyandi, matrix number 291507. I will begin with a comparison of governance practices across four plantation companies in Malaysia. For KLK, the board sets clear strategic goals and integrates sustainability into planning. The company also employs a qualified company secretary who ensures regulatory compliance and support informed board decision. United Plantation. It shows strong governance through an active chairman, CEO communication channel, and timely distribution of meeting materials at least 3 days before each meeting. Next, IOI Corporation. It promotes ethical leadership with a well balanced board and to preserve decision making objectivity. The chairman is not part of key committees. Finally, Sime Darby Plantation strengthens governance with a strong chairman role and a publicly accessible whistleblower policy to promote ethical conduct and transparency. Now we will look at the return on assets or known as ROA. ROE is a key indicator of how efficiently each company uses its assets to generate profits. In 2023, United Plantations had the highest ROA, rising from 18.7% to 21.6%. This was due to smart agriculture practices and efficient asset usage. In contrast, KLK dropped sharply from 7.41% to 2.76% due to environmental disruptions and rising input costs. IOI Corporation's ROA also declined from 9.23% to 6.43%, mainly because of supply chain inefficiency and rising expenses. Lastly, Sime Darby showed a slight drop in 2023, but overall had a positive growth trend from 2022 and 2023, rising from 4.65 to 6.9, showing steady long term improvement through sustainable practices. Now, let me talk about the three plausible reasons. The first reason is sustainability boosts efficiency. One major reason why firms with strong sustainability practices perform better is operational efficiency. Sustainable strategies reduce waste, enhance productivity, and support long term performance. United Plantation used precision farming and eco friendly practices to increase yield per asset. Similarly, Sam Darby streamlined its production processes, leading to better profit margins. This shows how integrating ESG practices helps companies operate more efficiently. The reason number two is risk resilience. Sustainability helps firms manage risk better. Environmental and social risks like labor issues or climate change can affect performance. United Plantation used climate resilience strategy, while Sam Darby actively tackle labor and governance issues. And the last one is growth through ESG. Large firms benefits more from sustainability in terms of capital access and scale. For example, Sam Darby has grown its equity and total assets by attracting ESG focused investors and funds, showing how sustainability supports long term growth.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Wan Sarah. My metric number is 301074. Let me now present three key recommendations that can enhance ESG reporting and sustainability practice among listed companies in Malaysia. First, we suggest implementing a publicly recognized sustainability performing rating system. This would rank companies into tiers like bronze, silver, gold, and platinum based on their ESG effect. High-performing companies would be publicly recognized, which is improve their reputation and attract ESG focused investors. Second, financial incentive and listing benefits should be offered to ESG leader. This include reduced listing costs, access to green financial instrument, and faster approval for proposal. This benefit reward companies that prioritize sustainability and make it easier for smaller firms to join in. Finally, we recommend a phase mandate with industry-specific support. Not all industry are at the same level of ESG readiness, so rolling out requirement gradually while offering training template and webinar will help business adjust smoothly. An optional certified ESG innovator badge can also motivate early adopter. In summary, combining recognition, incentive, and capacity building create a strong foundation for more effective ESG adoption across all sectors. Now moving on to the corporate social responsibility (CSR) assessment, we look at how the four companies, which is KLK United Plantation, IOI Corporation, and Sime Darby Plantation, perform based on Carroll Pyramid of CSR, which is include four key levels, which is economic level, ethical, and philanthropic responsibilities. At the economic level, all four companies have clearly met expectation. For example, United Plantation report a 1.73% increase in profit after tax in 2023, showing strong financial performance driven by the sustainable practice. Similarly, with the Sime Darby Plantation, has shown consistent growth with profit increasing year over year. Under legal responsibility, each company follow the necessary national and international law. They align their sustainability reporting with Bursa Malaysia Sustainability Reporting Guide and are certified by the RSPO, ensuring compliance with labor, environmental, and land use regulation. Next is ethical responsibility, where companies go beyond what is required by the law. For instance, IOI Corporation promotes sustainable land use and avoid deforestation, while KLK emphasizes employee safety and welfare, showing commitment to doing what is morally right. Lastly, in terms of philanthropic responsibility, Sime Darby and United Plantation stand out. They invest in education, healthcare, and infrastructure for local communities. On the other hand, KLK and IOI have shown less consistent involvement in this area, with fewer large-scale incentives being reported. In conclusion, all four companies meet their economic, legal, and ethical responsibilities well, but only Sime Darby and United Plantation demonstrate a strong philanthropic effort, setting a higher standard for CSR in the plantation industry.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Adib bin Ismail, my metric number 303591. I will continue the presentations to explain about 4F, anti-corruption and policy overview. For this slide, I will briefly summarize the anti-corruption policy review of Plantations Company. The first one is Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad has a strong anti-corruption framework applied not only to its employees but also to director, officer and external party like supplier and contractor. For United Plantation, UP maintains a strict zero-tolerance approach against corruptions, fraud and bribery, covering everyone from employees to consultants and agents. IOI Corporation also practices a zero-tolerance policy focusing on bribery and money laundering, extending the policy to all subsidiaries, associates and joint ventures. The last one is Sime Darby Plantation enforces a zero-tolerance policy as well, guided by integrity value and certified under ISO 3001. This policy applies to directors, staff, and all third-party members. This shows that all companies are strongly committed to enforcing anti-corruption practice across their organization and network. Moving to the prohibited practice and control. KLK strictly forbids any form of bribery, lavish gift, or entertainment used to influence business decisions. The policy also mandates tight review of transactions to ensure compliance. For United Plantations, the prohibition extends to improper meal or gift, and the company discourages political contributes unless allowed by law. They expect supplier and partner to uphold the same ethic. IOI Corporation prohibit bribery, corruption, and money laundering. Apply the TRUST principle, focusing on top-level commitment, risk assessment, control measure review, and training. Meanwhile, Sime Darby Plantation has no gift policy and forbid offering or accepting anything that could influence decision. Their risk management is also handled through active board oversight and governance structure. This illustrates each company's effort to close gap and control corruption risk. Finally, on enforcement and monitoring, Kuala Lumpur Kepulauan Berhad has an open whistleblowing channel to report misconduct safely, and violator face disciplinary action, including termination or legal reporting. Policies are reviewed and updated regularly. A United Plantation assigned its internal audit manager to handle internal anti-corruption matter and audit, with regular report made to authorities, including engaging with the regulator to improve law. For IOI Corporation, there are clear reporting channel and frequent training sessions involving top management. The Audit and Risk Management Committee oversee compliance risks directly. SIMW Plantation also emphasize confidently reporting with protection from retaliation. Violations are strictly dealt with, potential leading to termination or legal action. Their commitment include risk assessment and integrity briefing to maintain high awareness. Overall, these measures ensure not only policy presence but actual enforcement within this all company.
Lastly, let me talk about the SME business that we have interviewed, which is a part of this report. We interviewed a SME business where it's located in Varsity Mall UUM. The business is called Selera Anak Cucu. We found that good governance and ethical practices are not limited to big companies. They these small companies also have a basic ethical code, and the owner personally supports these types of ethics. They show CSR awareness by reducing plastic use and being transparent with pricing. We suggested that they can collaborate with nearby businesses to hold sustainability workshops or food donation drives. This would help the UUM and B40 communities. They also listen to customer feedback, showing a deep commitment to sustainable growth, customer care, and ethical conduct. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next, I will explain about the companies that have ethical dilemmas and has not met the expectation of CSR. So the first one is the Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad, or KLK, is a major palm oil producer in Malaysia. Despite a no requirement fee policy, reports show migrant workers still paid fees, pointing to poor internal enforcement and potential forced labor. KLK was also linked to illegal land clearing by suppliers, breaching its no deforestation pledge, highlighted by the Rainforest Action Network in 2024. The company failed to resolve land disputes with indigenous groups and lacked proper grievance mechanisms. This issue led to public boycotts, financial losses, and a damaged brand image, showing how weak CSR governance can seriously harm stakeholder trust and corporate integrity. Next, United Plantation Berhad was among the first to achieve RSPO standards and claims to uphold high ethical values. However, in the early 2010s, it faced serious labor scandals which accused of low wages, excessive hours, and poor safety of workers. Though United Plantation later adopted a code of ethics and CSR measures, in a 2023 interview with The Edge Malaysia, the company admits that aligning with human rights standards is a journey with no finishing line. Environmentally, United Plantation has been linked to the Forest Convention and biodiversity laws despite a public commitment to zero deforestation. This gap between its CSR image and action has led to reputational harm, public skepticism, and barriers to ethical markets. Employees suffer from poor compensation, and both consumers and advocacy groups question the company's sustainability claims. IOI Corporation Berhad is among the most controversial plantation companies in Malaysia in terms of ethics. It faced major reputational damage after being suspended from the RSPO for deforestation and peatland clearing in Kalimantan, Indonesia, damaging its claims of sustainable palm oil. Labor rights violations were also exposed. Reports by Finwatch and the Strait Times detail unsafe housing, unpaid overtime, verbal abuse, and illegal requirement fees affecting migrant workers. In 2021, The US Customs and Border Protection launched an investigation threatening to block IOI's products due to these labor concerns. This revelation led to market distrust, pressure from ethical investors, consumers, and reputational harm. While IOI has formed a board sustainability committee and updated its code of conduct, long-term reputational risks and labor concerns still persist. Lastly, Sam Darby Plantation, one of the world's biggest palm oil producers, has faced serious labor rights abuse allegations. Investigation by groups like Liberty Share uncovered forced labor, sexual harassment, passport withholding, and wage theft on plantation. As a result, the US Customs and Border Protection issued a withhold release order in December 2020, banning Sam Darby's products in the US. In response, the company created a Human Rights Assessment Commission, but this was dissolved in 2024, leading to renewed criticisms and doubts about its commitment to transparency. Stakeholders questioned whether these actions were genuine or just PR gestures. The reputational damage was severe, and there were concerns that other markets might follow the US in imposing bans. Failing to uphold international labor standards also put Sam Darby RSPO certification and access to ethical markets at risk. For workers, this means continued exposure to abuse with little institutional support to protect their rights. Next, I will explain about the factor of Selera Anak Cucu has failed meet the expectation of CSR. So Selera Anak Cucu, a small food business run by Pak Long and Mak Long at UUM, is known for good and affordable food. However, there are several areas where it falls short in meeting CSR expectation. The first one is the business has no formal CSR policy. Pak Long is not familiar with CSR, although he tries to help the community by giving food to students and joining community events. These efforts are commendable but lack of structure. Second, an undocumented worker was employed. Though Pak Long informed immigration and helped the worker return home, this still raises ethical and legal concerns. The last one is the business has to let go of many workers due to discipline and attendance problems. Without contracts or procedures, this shows a lack of employee rights and fair treatment. Next, I will tell about the recommended CSR policy for SME that Selera Anak Cucu can adapt. There are many lessons SMEs like Selera Anak Cucu can learn from large plantation companies when it comes to CSR. From Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad, Anak Cucu can adopt fair employment practices, ensuring all workers have proper documents and contracts, and introducing a simple code of ethics to guide behavior and discipline. Second, from United Plantation, they can formalize their existing effort to reduce food waste by starting recycling, using eco-friendly packaging, and regularly donating excess food to students. From IOI Corporation, there's an opportunity to support labor rights by giving local students fair part-time opportunities and offering informal mentoring to help them gain life skill in cooking and customer service. And the last one, from Sime Darby, they can improve governance by keeping prices transparent and inviting customer feedback, maybe through a suggestion box or QR code, while also promoting safe and respectful service.
In conclusion, our analysis underscores a crucial point: better sustainability disclosure linked to larger company size positively impacts financial performance. While all four plantation giants meet basic responsibilities, Sime Darby Plantation and United Plantation stand out as a leader in philanthropic CSR. We have also highlighted areas for improvement, particularly for KLK and IOI, where ethical lapses in labor and environmental management require stronger enforcement. And let's not forget the crucial insight from our SME case study, where ethical practices and CSR aren't just for big corporations, smaller business can play a significant role too. To drive national progress, we have proposed that Bursa Malaysia implement a comprehensive incentive framework, including ESG rating, financial incentives, and ESG-linked investment. Ultimately, the sustainability, ethics, and governance are no longer optional, but they are the bedrock of modern business, social legitimacy, and global competitiveness.